Merhaba sevgili Evrensel Web TV izleyenleri. Geçtiğimiz ay dünya çapında etkisi devam eden pandeminin en çok etkili olduğu ülkelerden Hindistan'da yaşanan ikinci dalgadan dolayı birçok insanın ölümüne şahit olduk. Hindistan'da rekor can kayıpları yaşandı. Modi hükümetinin seçimler gayesiyle pandemi önlemlerini siyasi çıkarlarına kurban etmesi ve haliyle önlemlerin zayıflığı, tıbbi oksijen ve bir kısım eyaletlerde aşı yetersizliğiyle kendini gösterdi. Dünyanın ecza deposu olan Hindistan'da her gün yüzlerce insan yaşamını yitiriyor. Son rakamlara göre Hindistan'da koronavirüsten dolayı hayatlarını kaybedenlerin sayısı 350 bine ulaştı. Ülkedeki pandemi ve seçimler etrafında yaşananları bütün Hindistan Öğrenci Federasyonu Başkanı ve Hindistan Komünist Partisi Ulusal Konseyi üyesi Batı Bengalli Shuvam Banerjee ile konuşacağız. Thank you for accepting our request, Shuvam Banerjee. I would like to ask first, could you tell us what happened recently in the pandemic in India, and why did this happen? What would you say about the Modi government's responsibility here? Because there was a second wave, a third wave of coronavirus, then black fungus. Especially, we would appreciate your observations on the ground. And as far as I know, you were a candidate in the last elections, and probably you had a lot of chance to observe what was going on.
See, comrade, the situation is much worse than the first wave. In the second wave of the pandemic in India, during the first wave, the maximum number of new case per day was around 90,000. But this time, during the second wave, the maximum number of new case on a single day reached 4,14,000 in a day. That means 500,000 people was affected in a single day during the second wave. And that peak was touched on 6th May 2021. Since 6th May, the peak has started to come down. You all know that the viral infection always follow a normalization curve. What we call in statistics a normalization curve. That standard normalization curve is followed. So from 1st March, the peak started to increase, and on the day of 6th May, it touched the maximum number. And since then, the number of infection per day is coming down, and we are hopeful that within 1 month or 1 month and 15 days, the situation will be little bit normal. But I can tell you that the government did nothing in this situation. We are governed by such a central government, which is the Modi-led government, which is ruled by the BJP party. That party is such a party, when the infection rate was increasing and it was the situation was becoming worse and worse, that time our Prime Minister Naredna Modi told that everyone should go to their terrace and rang a bell to stop the coronavirus. If you go to your terrace and rang a bell, then coronavirus will go away. Such a superstitious concept, such a backward and superstitious concept, I think no Prime Minister of a country can give what the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave. So this government, such a government is ruling India, who does not believe in logic and science. They do not believe in science and logic, but they believe in religious prejudices. So that's why in this past 1.5 years, the government took no hospital. The government took no initiative to build a super specialist COVID ward. They did not take any initiative to provide free medicine, the emergency medicine that is required for a COVID patient. They took no initiative to supply that emergency medicine to the affected people. But what they told that you should enlight a candle, you should ring a bell. This kind of religious concept they brought. So that's why the situation became worst in India. And you all know that if we consider globally, then India was at the second spot. And still India is in the second spot in terms of the total COVID number cases as well as in terms of death. So that's why the situation became very worse during the second wave. And as I told you that we have lost our many comrades, we have lost our many friends, we have lost, many people have lost their close relatives. And now, naturally, the infection rate is decreasing. As I told you earlier, that any viral infection follow the standard normalization curve. So naturally, the infection rate is decreasing, and we are very afraid that if the third wave strikes again after 3 or 4 months, then we can't imagine what situation India will face. That's what I can tell you about the situation of India.
So, thank you, Shuvam. I would like to ask, what is the state of the health system in India? Because as far as we know, India is a center where vaccines are produced. And is vaccination widely available there? Or could you give a short summary, like the state of the health system over there?
There is no minimum health facility that the citizen of India get. Lack of hospitals, lack of treatments, lack of specialist COVID wards, lack of medicine, lack of vaccines, everything is lacking in India. As I told you earlier that in this span of 1 year and 6 months, not a single hospital was built up by the Indian government. So the citizen of India is not able to get the minimum and basic health facility. And if we talk about the vaccination process, then the Indian government give the only 2 private companies were allocated to produce the vaccine. The 2 companies are Bharat Biotech and Serum Institute of India. The Serum Institute of India produced the vaccine known as Covishield. Covishield is same as the AstraZeneca. I hope you all are aware about the AstraZeneca vaccine, which is widely circulated in Europe. So Covishield is similar to that AstraZeneca vaccine. So Covishield is produced by the Serum Institute of India, and the Covaxin is produced by the Bharat Biotech company. These both are private companies and close to the Modi government, and surprisingly, Modi government did not allow or did not give permission to any other company who were able to produce vaccine and they were able to widely circulate it. But Modi government gave permission and sanction to only these 2 private companies to produce this vaccine. So this is the situation. Initially, Modi government told that only the elder people will get the vaccine, but still a large proportion of Indian citizens, they are not able to get the vaccine. Now, just today, Modi government has announced that they will freely give vaccine to the younger generation also. But you all know that Modi is famous for committing promises and giving dialogues, but he has not ever kept his promise. When Modi came into power in India, he promised that everyone will get 1.5 million rupees into their bank accounts. Every citizen of India, they will get 1.5 million rupees into their account. Modi promised. When Modi came to power, he promised that he will provide employment to 2 crore people per year. 2 crore. That means 200 million. 20 million. 20 million. He promised that he will provide 20 million employment per year, and he will give 1.5 million money, Indian currency, to each citizen of India. but no one get 10 rupees into their account. So he is famous for making promises, but he never keeps his promise. So same way he has made a promise today that every young generation, every individual of India, they will get free vaccines. But we know that this time also he will not keep his promises. So the situation will become worse. We are very much afraid of that.
I see. So, Shuvam, in that case, what is the popular opposition doing? I mean, do opposition political organizations, trade unions, and democratic forces have a general orientation or plan in this situation?
Look, if we talk about our parliamentary system, then Indian National Congress or Congress is the main opposition force. But Congress is facing serious crisis of leadership. Once this Indian National Congress had some great leaders when they were in power, or even when they were in opposition, they used to have great leaders. But to be frank, now at present day, they are facing serious crisis of leadership. So not such a pressure is, the Congress has not created such kind of pressure that should have been done by the opposition party. So there is some lack of activities from Congress. But I can tell you that the left parties are doing great job. The Communist Party of India or the Communist Party of Marxist, we have very small amount of representative in the Indian Parliament. In Lok Sabha, CPI has 2 member of parliament and CPIM has 3 member of parliament. So together CPI and CPI have only 5 members in the Indian Parliament Lok Sabha presently. But still, we are trying our best. The left parties are trying their best to create pressure on the government so that every citizen of India get free vaccines. And as you know that there is a state in the southern part of India known as Kerala. Kerala is ruled by the communist government. Even this year, Kerala, the communist parties have won the Kerala election by a huge margin. So Kerala is giving the basic medicines as well as free vaccination to all, and they are trying to show an example to the nation and to the whole country. And also the communist parties and the left parties of India, they are trying their best to put a pressure on the ruling BJP government, and they are pressurizing the government that they should stop making promises now and they should start doing action, and they must provide free vaccine to all the citizens of India, and they should provide the basic health facilities to all the citizens of India.
So you also past elections. What were your observation about the elections, and how was this stage of the pandemic, the second wave I'm talking about, related with the last elections?
Actually, when the election was declared by the Election Commission of India, that time the transmission rate or the infection rate of COVID was very low. But after the election campaign started, after some day, the second wave started to take its peak. As I told you that during the first week or second week of March, the second wave started in India, and it started to increase its infection rate or increase the number of cases after the first week of April or during the second week of April, and it reached its peak on the first week of May. So when the election was declared and when the election campaign started, during that time infection rate was comparatively low in India, and Election Commission announced election in the 4 provinces, the major 4 provinces. The 4 provinces are Kerala and Tamil Nadu. These 2 are in the southern part of India, and in West Bengal and Assam. These 2 are the provinces of eastern part of India. So in these 4 provinces, Election Commission declared election, and elections were held. Among these 4 states, Kerala, the Communist Party were in the power. The Left Democratic Front, ruled by the CPIM and CPI, they were in power for the last 5 years. and this time they have been re-elected into the power. There are 140 seats. There are 140 seats in the Legislative Assembly of Kerala, and out of this 140, the communist parties together, the Left Democratic Front, have won 99 seats, almost 100 seats out of these 140 seats. So it was a great result for the left of India. And in Tamil Nadu, last time the communist parties CPI and CPIM don't have any seats, didn't have any seat last time in the assembly. But this time CPI and CPIM made an alliance with the DMK party. The DMK is a regional political party. The name is Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. So CPI and CPIM made an electoral alliance with that DMK party, and the main fight was against the NDA. NDA is ruled by the BJP, the ruling power of India, BJP. But the DMK, CPI, CPIM alliance have won this election, and CPI won 2 seats in the Legislative Assembly, and CPIM also won 2 seats. So both these communist party together have won 4 seats this time in the Tamil Nadu Assembly election. So it is also comparatively good result from last time. But we surprisingly, we could not open our account in West Bengal this time. You know that West Bengal is a state where the communist parties ruled for continuous 34 years, since 1977 to 2011. And I also contested election as a CPI candidate from West Bengal Assembly. But surprisingly, this time the election was very much polarized between the ruling government of West Bengal, which is run by the Trinamool Congress party, and the BJP. So the total election and the total vote was polled in a very polarized way. So people either vote for TMC, who supported the state government, voted for TMC, and who wanted to remove TMC from power, they voted for BJP this time. So it was a very much polarized vote between TMC and BJP in West Bengal, and left became the third force in this election and got the left alliance got only 10% of vote and were not able to open their account.
So
and in Assam also, Assam is not a stronghold for the left, and in Assam also the left could not make any good result, and it was not expected from Assam because Assam is not a stronghold of left. But in Kerala, Tamil Nadu and West Bengal, these 3 provinces are the stronghold of left. So in these 3, out of these 3 provinces, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, we got good result, but West Bengal result was shocking.
So Shuvam, you were a candidate, and you had been in the streets of West Bengal to organize a voting drive last month. And could you lastly tell us about how the pandemic did play a role in that polarization, political polarization that you were talking about? What kind of reactions that the people had in terms of pandemic and the political parties?
See, specifically, if you ask about the West Bengal Assembly election, in West Bengal Assembly election, I don't feel that pandemic had any role, because if we talk about combating this COVID situation, the central government ruled by BJP totally failed, and also thus West Bengal state government ruled by the Trinamool Congress party, they also totally failed. As I told you that the central government did not take any initiative to build any new hospital, to give proper health facility to their citizen. Similarly, the state of West Bengal ruled by the Trinamool Congress party, they also did not take any initiative to build a new hospital to give basic health facility to their citizen. In West Bengal also the COVID situation was very much very poor, so that people of West Bengal did not get any basic health facility. They did not get any medicine free. So thus to combat and tackle the COVID situation, both the central government ruled by BJP and both the state government of West Bengal ruled by TMC, both failed. So that's why I don't feel that the poor COVID situation had any role in this result of this electoral result. I don't feel so. Only the major issue that played on the mind of the citizen of West Bengal, that BJP is a communal and fascist force who are trying to inject their dangerous communal politics in West Bengal, and people felt that somehow Trinamool Congress is comparatively better than BJP. So the people who were aware about the dangerous politics of RSS and BJP. RSS is a political platform, a very religious political platform, a very Hindu fundamentalist political platform that controls BJP. So the people who were very much afraid of RSS and BJP, they somehow felt that TMC is comparatively better than RSS BJP. So to prevent BJP coming into the power of West Bengal, they voted for TMC. And the anti-incumbency vote, who were very much unhappy with the politics of TMC, the people who wanted to remove TMC from the power, they voted for BJP. So that's how the polarization happened. And as people thought that the left are the third force in this election, so the vote percentage, the vote share of the left parties were surprisingly lower, and the left alliance, the Sanjukta Morcha alliance or the United Alliance led by the left parties, got only 10% of the vote. But I don't feel that the COVID situation had played any role in this result.
I see. Thank you so much. Would you like to add anything or any last word or observations that you couldn't find a chance to tell about? Let us know, please.
No, comrade. I don't have to add any specific points, but we strongly feel that the communist and the left parties should increase their strength in the parliament and in the assemblies of India, because this COVID situation made it clear that the capitalist government or the capitalism is totally failed. If we see the situation of the world, we know that the total capitalist model failed to combat this COVID situation, this COVID crisis. So India similarly failed totally to tackle this COVID situation. So it is clear to all of us and to the progressive democratic people of India that the left should increase their strength both organizationally and both inside of the parliament and in the assemblies. So if the left would have been stronger and if left would have been in the power of more states, as I told you that in Kerala only the government is ruled by the communist parties, and Kerala was very much successful in tackling the COVID situation. So if the communist parties or the left parties were in power in many more states, or were in power in the more representative in the parliament, then suddenly the situation would have not been so poor. So we feel, and the progressive democratic people of India feel, that left must increase their strength both outside and both inside of the parliament.
Thank you so much, Shuvam Banerjee, for your words and for your contribution. Thank you again.
Thank you, comrade. Thank you all.